Thăng Thiền, go ahead. Thăng Thiền, yeah. Can you hear me, Thăng Thiền? Thăng Thiền, can you hear me?
Yes, Thai.
You want to be, and you want to,
Yeah, okay, yeah. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha.
one, please.
The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now about to come to receive Holy Buddha in my sight in heaven, I vow to fathom the dust from one true and actual meaning.
Okay. So last time we reviewed the 8 consciousness, so we understand how the mind works. So now we continue on discussion about traveling dependent on nation. Yeah. So okay. This is the traveling dependent on the traveling operating dependent on nation. That means ignorant, mental formation, consciousness, the mind. This is the mind and the body. The 6 sense, that means the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind consciousness. Feeling, contact, feeling, craving, attachment, become, birth, aging, and death. We will go in detail later. Okay. So we still in this one right here. So let's see. Okay, last time we okay. Okay, let's start from here, I think. All right, let's review one more. William, would you go ahead?
Okay, so hi, sorry for being a little late. In that sense, dependent origination simply means dependent arising, conditional arising, or chain of cause and effect. For more precise explanations, dependent origination points out that the phenomena of all things in the universe are due to factors and conditions dependently arising to form like real existence, like a real extinction, but it is just a delusion. It is neither a real existence and nor a real extinction. This is the endless cycle of existence and extinction, like the endless birth and death cycle. The doctrine of dependent origination is a great discovery and is the foundation of the entire Buddhist teachings. Dependent origination is the Buddhist cosmology, the foundation of the Theravada and Mahayana traditions. Dependent origination is one of the keys to opening the treasure of Dharma. In the Tapaham Sutta, the Buddha once affirmed that dependent origination is the truth that specifies the nature of dependent origination in everything, physical or psychological. In the universe, this truth always exists whether the Tathagata appears or not in the world. The doctrine of dependent origination is not only the truth, it is the law that specifies the working principle of all the phenomena in the world. That is, all psychological and physical phenomena that make up the life of all things. It is also the first theory rejecting the Vedic philosophy system of Brahman and denies the Brahman God as the creator in order to form the thought self-doing, self-retribution. To promote human position, we are the owner of our own actions, and no one has authority to decide for our own life. Because the principle of dependent origination is the mainstay of the doctrines built on the basis of impermanence and no self, it is opposed to the external doctrine or Shastra. The Knowing One's Past Life Shastra states that everything happens in this life arranged by actions from the previous life.
Okay, good. So we understand the concept impermanent, right? And the no self, right? This should be very clear, right? Everything in life is impermanent, and also everything in life, all phenomenon, is no self because they don't have a true self. That's what it means. Okay, huh? So we will not go back. And now the known one, past life, Shastra state that everything happened in this life arranged by the action from the previous life. This is the Shastra from the other religion. Okay, not from the Buddhist. Okay. So let's see what do they try to say here and what the Buddha teaches us about this. Okay, let me go here. Let me see. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Jenny, you want to read this one for me?
Monks, there are these three sectarian guilds that, when cross-examined, pressed for reasons, are rebuked by wise people, even though they may explain otherwise, remain stuck in a doctrine of inaction. Which three? There are contemplatives and Brahmins who hold this teaching, hold this view. Whatever a person experiences, pleasant, painful, or neither pleasant nor painful, is all caused by what was done in the past. There are contemplatives and Brahmas who hold this teaching, hold this view. Whatever a person experiences, pleasant, painful, or neither pleasant nor painful, is all caused by Supreme Being's act of creation. There are contemplatives and Brahmas who hold this teaching, hold this view. Whatever a person experiences, pleasant, painful, or neither pleasant nor painful, is all without cause and without condition. Having approached the contemplatives and Brahmas who hold that whatever a person experiences is all caused by what was done in the past, is all caused by a Supreme Being's act of creation, is all without cause and without condition. I said to them, is it true that you hold the above teaching and the above view? Thus asked by me, they admitted yes. Then I said to them, then in that case, a person is a killer of living beings because of what was done in the past. A Supreme Being's act of creation without cause and without condition. A person is a thief, uncelibate, a liar, a divisive speaker, a harsh speaker, an idle charioteer, greedy, malicious, a holder of wrong views because of what was done in the past. When one falls back on what was done in the past as being essential, monks, there is no desire, no effort at the thought, this should be done. This shouldn't be done. When one can't pin down as a truth or reality what should and shouldn't be done, one dwells bewildered and unprotected. One cannot righteously refer to oneself as a contemplative. These were my righteous refutation of those contemplatives and Brahmins who hold to such teachings, such views.
Okay, hold on. No, I think that's good. So what do you understand from this? So basically, this is the three view they are talking. These are the costs. So basically, right here, this is the three view. Are caused by the what was done in the past. Is caused by the Supreme Being act of creation. They are without cause and without condition. So what do you think? What do you understand from this, Jenny?
That, I mean, not everything is caused by what was done in the past.
Okay, anything else?
No, I mean, that's what I understand.
Okay, William, what do you think about this teaching?
I think it ignores like the condition of the person. So a cause, something can happen, a cause can occur. And yeah, maybe there is a return of some sort of past karma that can act as a cause, but then the condition of the person that receives that cause, it is really definitive as to what choice they're going to make. So there does seem to be a role of choice in that, like the example of a killer. Someone who's killing they're creating new karma, like they are going out of their way to do something that they don't have to do. So they can't just be propelled by what was happened in the past, because they have the ability to choose something different. And it would be also kind of silly to say the reason that they are killing people is because that's how they were created, because we have examples of people who maybe at one point in their life committed like a terrible deed like killing, but then later they repented it and did many good actions, and there was not an intervention of a supreme being that could be accounted for that change. And to say that, you know, there's no causes or conditions for anything that's happening, that doesn't make any sense either, because we can like look at a plant and see, well, in order for a plant to grow, there has to have been a seed planted, there has to have been fertile ground, there has to be the right temperature and enough water. So clearly there is a need for there to be, you know, causes and conditions present that lead to, you know, past actions certainly do have some effect. So I think yeah, all of these are extreme views, where certainly a supreme being like King Chakra has some effect on our existence. The presence of that being has some effect, and other heavenly beings could have some effect, but they're not decisive. It doesn't take away our ability to choose if we're going to keep the precepts, you know, if we're going to be generous, or, you know, we still have the ability to direct our attention and make our choices.
Okay, Tammy, what do you think about this teaching?
So my understanding of this is there's no God that dictates my life. When you have a God that dictates your life, then you're easily dropped with one God. But when you find the power that within, that it's your ability to choose and make your own choices, then you're able to come out of ignorance. So your past karma perhaps has put you, you were born into the life that you were given in the beginning. But as you come out of that ignorance that you were born into, then you can realize you make your own choices and you really dictate your life. So it's best to believe and understand that your choices are yours, so you can come out of any karmatic situation that you're in within your own choices.
That's good, thank you. Lanel, do you think what do you think about this thing? Lanel? Place, do you want to what do you think about this teaching? Any idea?
Me? I fully agree on that. If we open our mind, that we make our own choices in life, that's the way it should. In a lot of ways, that's the way it should be, you know, because in all honesty, with any aspect of life, it's a choice that you make. You can either make the choice to go down the right path or go down the wrong path. And overall, even in society, you have to follow the consequences that go behind each choice you make. It's really simple, honestly. If you think about it, it's really simple. I do good deeds in life, good will come back to me. And life will be as happy as you can make it. If you may go down the wrong path, then bad things are going to happen and you'll have to deal with the consequences of the bad decisions you make.
Okay.
There's simple teachings like if you, in all honesty, when I thought about this, I thought of the things that my mom and grandma and my dad taught me when I was just a little kid. You think back to all the childlike aspects of things your parents tried to teach you before you really realized what the world was all about. It's all the simplicities of life. You do good, you do to other people what you want done to you, and you do good things are going to happen. You do bad things are going to happen. Am I right?
Okay, all right, thank you. Thang Thing, what do you think about this thinking?
Yeah, more Thai. I think the feeling of unpleasant is that something that we done in the past because of the karma that we made in the past, and in this lifetime, so we have to accept for it the way it is, but we can change it. We can change our karma by practice in this lifetime, so that our feeling will become either neutral or present. So the feeling doesn't come without cause or condition. It come because of the karma that we made in the previous life. So I think if we just practice what we learn in class, we just practice the ways so that our feelings would be neutral, to stay in neutral instead of like on the pleasant or unpleasant feeling. That's what I.
Okay, thank you. Wang Li, what do you think about this teaching? I think it's you to know about this teaching already.
Yeah, I think this is an extreme view. When you talked about no cause and no condition, you kind of put a blame on the past action, the past karma, something else that you have no control. And you yourself can't make the change. So you find that an excuse and not willing to make improvement or to change your karma. Just like everyone else said, you eventually not trying because, you take the passive role. There's nothing you can do. And I think that's the wrong view. Even in whatever situation, even if you blame it on karma, that you know that you, the one who can make the change, you can penance, you can improve, you can make things better. And otherwise, I think it's you just gonna dig deeper and deeper, and just get even deeper and deeper in the wrong view of these. I don't know. I kind of agree with everyone. Each of them it sets in different way, but it's very similar things.
Okay. All right, thank you. So basically, what we know is in this the Buddha's teaching, this all three view here, it's the wrong view. Why was that? Because basically, all caused by what was done in the past. Then what about if we kill someone today? Then we say that, oh, that's what maybe my karma in the past, that's what I create, and now I kill. And that means we just claim on the past. And also we have no desire to learn the truth. And therefore we cannot be able to distinguish the right view between the right view and the wrong view. That means we don't know this should be done, this should not be done. That's important. And also because this is not comply with the law of cause and effect in the Buddha teaching. Because the law of cause and effect in the Buddha teaching, we have three things, three components. The first component is the cause, the second one is the condition, the third one is the effect. If we have the bad cause, that means we create the bad cause in the past. But it doesn't mean that the bad cause will lead us to the bad result, the bad effect. It still depends on the condition. So we still have a chance to transform the bad cause into the good effect, depend on the condition we put in. So this is not comply with the law of cause and effect, and also is caused by a supreme being act of creation. That means when we do bad thing or when we do whatever we do, we just say that is the God's will. And what does that mean? Then and we have no desire to learn about the Dharma, the truth. Therefore, we do not know the difference between the right view and the wrong view. And therefore, we cannot be able to recognize this should be done or this should not be done. So this is also that's why the Buddha said this is the wrong view. And also, this is not complying with the law of cause and effect. It's all without cause or without condition. That means everything happened by itself. No, there is no such thing is called happen by itself. Everything they happen for a reason. So that's what we. That's why the Buddha reject all this teacher, all this view here. So let's go back to. So that we learned that. The same thing with the God will. Sattva state that everything happened due to the will of God. That is similar to what we just learned now. Happen without reason is similar to what we just learned now. State that everything just happened with no reason. All right. The meta visit dealing with the origin and the substance of the being are all considered meaningless argument. And what does it mean? We can go here and we see what the Buddha tried to teach us here. Oh. Okay, got it. All right. Tammy, you want to read it?
I have heard that on one occasion, the Blessed One was staying in Savada at the Jeta's Grove and a Pinka's monastery. Then the wanderer Vairagata went to the Blessed One and on arrival exchanged courteous greetings with him. After an exchange of friendly greetings and courtesies, he sat to one side. As he was sitting there, he asked the Blessed One, "How is it, Master Gautama? Does Master Gautama hold the view the cosmos is eternal? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless." "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view the cosmos is not eternal? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless?" "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view the cosmos is finite? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless?" "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view the cosmos is infinite? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless?" "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view the soul and the body are the same? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless?" "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view the soul is one thing and the body another? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless?" "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view after death a Tathagata exists? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless?" "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view after death a Tathagata does not exist? Stop. Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless?" "No." "Then does Master Gautama hold the view after death a Tathagata both exist and does not exist. Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. No. Then does Master Ganama hold the view after death a Tathagata neither exists nor does not exist? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. No. How is it, Master Gautama, when Master Gautama is asked if he holds the view the cosmos is eternal after death, a Tathagata neither exists nor does not exist? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless, he says. No, in each case, seeing what drawback, then is Master Gautama thus eternally disassociated from each of these 10 positions.
Okay, stop right there. We will, okay, let's see. Okay. Go, William, what do you think about this teaching here?
I think it's a good way to point out different views that are mistakes and that can lead to errors. And I thought it was very interesting how Vacchagotta engages with the Buddha too, where he's really giving these very like narrow, is this what you believe? Is this what you believe? Rather than just saying, please teach me. It's like giving all of these very specific things.
And they talking about cosmos eternal or not eternal, cosmos finite or not finite, right? The soul and the body are the same, or the soul is one thing, the body is another thing, otherwise everything. And also this, he also asked the Buddha, what about after death? Tathagata, that means the Buddha, exists or not exist after death, or both exist and do not exist, or neither exist, no, do not exist. And the Buddha said no to all. Okay, and we will learn into detail. Okay, William, go ahead and read the rest.
Vacha. The position that the cosmos is eternal is a thicket of views, a wilderness of views, a contortion of views, a writhing of views, a fetter of views. It is accompanied by suffering, distress, despair, and fever, and it does not lead to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, to calm direct knowledge, full awakening, unbinding. The position that the cosmos is not eternal, the cosmos is finite, the cosmos is infinite, the soul and the body are the same, the soul is one thing and the body another. After death, a Tathagata exists. After death, a Tathagata does not exist. After death, a Tathagata both exists and does not exist. After death, a Tathagata neither exists nor does not exist, does not lead to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, to calm direct knowledge, full awakening, unbinding. Does Master Gautama have any position at all? A position, Vacha, is something that a Tathagata has done away with. What a Tathagata sees is this: such is form, such its origination, such its appearance, such is feeling, such is perception, such are fabrications, such is consciousness. Because of this, I say a Tathagata with the ending, fading away, cessation, renunciation, and relinquishment of all construings, all excogitations, all I-making and mind-making and obsessions with conceit, is through lack of clinging, sustenance released. But Master Gautama, the monk whose mind is thus released, where does he reappear? Reappear, Vacha, doesn't apply. In that case, Master Gautama, he does not reappear? Does not reappear, Vacha, doesn't apply. both does and does not reappear? Doesn't apply. Neither does nor does not reappear. Doesn't apply. How is it, Master Gotama? When Master Gotama is asked if the monk reappears, does not reappear, both does and does not reappear, neither does nor does not reappear, he says, doesn't apply. In each case, at this point, Master Gotama, I am befuddled. At this point, confused. The modicum of clarity coming to me from your earlier conversation is now obscured. Of course you're befuddled, Vacha. Of course you're confused. Deep, Vacha, is this phenomena. Hard to see, hard to realize, tranquil, refined, beyond the scope of conjecture, subtle, to be experienced by the wise. For those with other views, other practices, other satisfactions, other aims, other teachers, it is difficult to know. That being the case, I will now put some questions to you. Answer as you see fit. What do you think, Vacha? If a fire were burning in front of you, would you know that? This fire is burning in front of me. Yes. And suppose someone were to ask you, Vacha, this fire burning in front of you, dependent on what is it burning? Thus asked, how would you reply? I would reply, this fire burning in front of me is burning dependent on grass and timber as its sustenance. If the fire burning in front of you were to go out, would you know that this fire burning in front of me has gone out? Yes. And suppose someone were to ask you, this fire that has gone out in front of you, in which direction from here has it gone? East, west, north, or south? Thus asked, how would you reply? That doesn't apply, Master Gotama. Any fire burning dependent on a sustenance of grass and timber, being unnourished from having consumed that sustenance and not being offered any other, is classified as simply out. Even so, Vacha, any physical form by which one describing the Tathagata would describe him, that the Tathagata has abandoned, its root destroyed, made like a palmyra stump, deprived of the conditions of development, not destined for future arising, freed from the classification of form, Vacha, the Tathagata is deep, boundless, hard to fathom, like the sea. Reappears does not apply. Does not reappear does not apply. Both does and does not reappear doesn't apply. Neither reappears nor does not reappear doesn't apply. Any feeling, perception, any fabrication, any consciousness by which one describing the Tathagata would describe him, that the Tathagata has abandoned, its root destroyed, made like a palmyra stump, deprived of the conditions of development, not destined for future arising, freed from the classification of consciousness, Vacha. The Tathagata is deep, boundless, hard to fathom, like the sea. Reappears doesn't apply, does not reappear doesn't apply, both does and does not reappear doesn't apply, neither reappears nor does not reappear doesn't apply. When this was said, the wanderer, Vachogata, said to the Blessed One, Master Gotama, it is as if there were a great sala tree not far from a village or town. From inconstancy, its branches and leaves would wear away, its bark would wear away, its sapwood would wear away, so that on a later occasion, divested of branches, leaves, bark, and sapwood, it would stand as pure heartwood. In the same way, Master Gotama's words are divested of branches, leaves, bark, and sapwood, and stand as pure heartwood. Magnificent, Master Gotama, magnificent, just as if he were to place upright what was overturned, to reveal what was hidden, to show the way to one who was lost, or were to carry a lamp into the dark so that those with eyes could see forms. In the same way has Master Gotama, through many lines of reasoning, made the Dhamma clear. I go to Master Gotama for refuge, to the Dharma, and to the Sangha of monks. May Master Gotama remember me as a lay follower who has gone to him for refuge from this day forward for life.
Wow. So, what do you think? This is a little bit confused.
Yeah, I think what's being described is the how our dualistic language is not sufficient to describe the Buddha nature, the Buddha mind. That if we think anything, if we hold any thought such as something, the cosmos is finite or infinite, we're missing that both of those are descriptors. They are creations of a mind that is bound by ignorance. Because the idea of either of those words and those concepts that are, concepts in the mind, finite or infinite, describing the cosmos, well, it runs counter to the law of emptiness. That it would be an extra descriptor that isn't essential to the cosmos or to the true nature. So just like we talk about the arising and the cessation of phenomena, and that it arises from causes and conditions and ceases from causes and conditions, but since we can't place a beginning or an end on it because these phenomena have been, arising and falling away for so long, we can't really call something arising or something falling away, because falling away is another form of arising. Something else is arising because that's falling away. And something arising is something else falling away. So our ability to use our language that's based in dualism of like separating things out, it falls apart and it fails to describe the knowledge that the Buddha has, and the teachings that what the Buddha is wishing to show us is that that these phenomena are illusory. Because if we think we can kind of put in a box those phenomena and then observe them and describe them, in a way we're reinforcing the idea of a self, that I have the ability to completely understand and describe these phenomena using the language available to myself. But if even the self is illusory, the self has come together because of different conditions and will fall apart. To assert any of these things as reality would be to kind of lock us into a part of the picture, but not to appreciate the whole of it.
Okay. All right. Let me give you very brief. There is another Vietnamese version. It's a little bit different than this. Okay, basically, usually in the old day, when the Buddha still in the world, the other religion, they want to challenge the Buddha wisdom. So what they do is they come up with all kind of questions that hopefully he cannot be able to answer. Okay, and these are the questions he want to challenge the Buddha. They are the question when they ask the question, it's not for the benefit of learning, but for the benefit for their own. They want to challenge the other. Okay, that's the whole idea for this kind of teaching. So so the cosmos, finite, infinite, the body and the soul is one or two or whatever, or this thing here. The Buddha said that if a person who always think about this question all the time, it will lead them to be confused and to be Let me see, what do the Buddhists say? Not this one. To be suffering, distress, despair, and fever. So the Buddha said that all this question here, it doesn't comply with the Buddhist teaching. Why? Because the Buddha teaching, the whole idea of the Buddha teaching here is direct to our daily suffering, right? That means when we learn the Buddha teaching, he wants us to, when we have problem, he helps us to resolve the problem. For example, the 4 2. The first thing is the Buddha talk about the suffering. Because when we see the suffering, we can be able to visualize, right? If he show us the cause of the suffering before the suffering, we have no idea what the suffering look like. Does it make sense? Because when we do think, we never think about the consequence. Okay? We just do it. But when we due to our bad action, we receive the retribution, the bad retribution, and we will be suffer for that retribution. At that time, we know the suffering. Then at that time, we will think about the cause of the suffering. Okay? So that's why the Buddha teaching for the Four Noble Truth, the truth of suffering is the first one that the Buddha teaching. One, we know the suffering. Then the Buddha will talk. He also talk about the cause of our suffering. It just comes from the ignorance and the craving. And the third one is the ending of suffering. That means remove the ignorance and remove the craving. Ignorance is mean the self. Okay. When we remove the I, the self, and also the craving, that means when we remove the I or the ignorance, that means we have wisdom. Okay. Then also we remove the craving. That's what we call the end of suffering. But how do we practice in order to remove that? That's what we call the Four Noble Truths. It's the path leading to the end of suffering, the Eightfold Path. Okay. So basically all this thing here, the Buddha give an example. This is what he said. When a person been injured by the poison arrow, right? If someone shoot okay, let's say that person has been shot by the arrow, the poison arrow, and let's say his loved one want to pull out the poison arrow, and you know what? This person said, no, I will not pull out the arrow unless if I know where did the arrow come from and where this arrow, who make this arrow, and how this arrow look like, what, how it look like, and what kind of poison that it make, and that will that means he wants to know all the detail of this thing before he allow his loved one to pull out the poison arrow for him. Does that make sense? And I want to know what color of the arrow is and how it look like, all those things. By the time he find out all those things, he dead already. Does that make sense? He already dead by the poison arrow. The same thing with us. So when we so this question here, if day and night we think about all this question, and we want to find out the answer for this one, before we get the answer, we already die, because there is no answer. then what's the point? Does that make sense? There's no point. So
Yeah.
then, by the time we get the answer, actually there's no answer for this thing. Yeah. So therefore, the Buddha said that if someone have this kind of wrong view, they cannot be able to learn the truth. Okay? And the wrong view is the most evil one, because that one, the outside enemy, it's not that a big deal, but the inner enemy is the wrong view. That will kill us. Not only one life, but many lives after. Does it make sense? Jenny, you understand?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Tammy, do you understand, Tammy?
Yes, I understand.
Good. So this is important, right? So what we learn here, we try to understand what the Buddha said. And most of these questions, usually the Buddha will not answer because it won't give them the benefit. And he will do that. Okay? Usually he never, he will not, he not answer this question because it doesn't mean that he doesn't know. He only gives you the whatever bring benefit to us, he will teach. But not give us any benefit. Why should he say, right? Okay. All right. So that's why this is called the meaningless argument. Because they don't add any benefit to us. Okay, cô quản lý, you go ahead and do number 3.
From number 2?
No, 3.
Oh, number 3, okay. The doctrine of independent origination, also known as the law of cause and effect, the principle condition arising, is the condition arising and extinction, or the condition coming and going. However, there is no real arising and real extinction. It is just the endless cycle or transformations of all phenomena, and there is no beginning and ending, as the following explanations. Dharma, phenomena, establishing, staying, decaying, nothing less, and anything, all things of the universe.
The body.
The principle condition arises. Okay, body, birth, aging, sickness, death, all sentient beings, mind, creating, staying, changing, extinction. Number
Okay.
4, the dark.
Okay. We can discuss this thing right here. Thank you. So this thing here, when we're talking about, so what do you understand from here for one? What do you?
Basically, there is no self, there's no arising and real extinction. It's just the a circle. It's just a cycle. No beginning, no ending, and that is when we're talking about. It could be starting out with what do we call not knowing. The cycle. Basically, a cycle, and I think if you start at anywhere from the cycle, it would be the beginning, because there is no real beginning and ending. The only way to do is to start from somewhere between the cycle.
Okay. And also the Dhamma, that means the phenomenon, they go to 4 states. Establishing, staying, decaying, and nothingness. This is for the phenomenon. The body, the physical body, for the living being body, we also go to 4 states. Birth, aging, sickness, and death. the mind also go through the fourth state, creating, staying, changing, and extinction. So, and all these things, those things come from our forward thinking, right? That forward thinking is a part of our alaya, right? Store consciousness. So that's why they know real arising and no real extinction. It's just a delusion. Because from the thought, right? That's what we call delusion. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
William, you understand it, right?
Yes, yeah, it makes sense in that, yeah, if we're busying ourselves with thinking about these questions that are not really important with respect to getting rid of ignorance, they're kind of just like another way to be taken by the play of phenomena and to think that, you know, these things that we see through our senses or something, or that we think about in our mind, that we should, you know, continue to think about them and engage with them. And that would just keep us from allowing the mind to calm and to let go of attaching to those phenomena.
Okay. Thăng Thiện, go ahead and read number 4 for me.
The doctrine of dependent origination. The doctrine of dependent origination is summarized as follows. When there is this, that come to be, with the arising of this, that arises. When there is not this, that does not come to be. With the cessation of this, that ceases.
Do you understand this one?
It's like when something comes or something arises, it arises, and something that is not comes, and it does arises.
Okay, that's good. Let me go back to the will. And this thing right here, we call the traveling of the dependent on nation. This is represent the death and rebirth cycle in Buddhism. William, can you apply this one to that will?
Yeah. So
you want me to go back to the will?
Yes, and there's this, and this arises. Yeah. So when there is ignorance, then mental formations arise and are taken as true and real. And then, you know, you have mental formations. Then when mental formations arise, then consciousness can arise, and so on and so forth, really through the whole circle. But then if ignorance ceases, then, you know, we cease to take mental formations as real, and it does yeah, it seems that craving would cease, you know, through that change. If ignorance ceases, cravings would cease. There does seem consciousness seems to remain, though. Consciousness very much seems to remain, because the Buddha appears to be conscious.
Wow, good question.
Could you, I mean, probably, I guess at that point, maybe you'd say, all right, the distinction of consciousness, if we're saying something is conscious or isn't conscious, again, falls into the whole idea of, well, it's really neither conscious nor unconscious, but it's also conscious. And it's like, we can't really describe it accurately without asserting something that is inaccurate in a way, you know?
When you know ignorant, right? When you know ignorant, that means we are wisdom. When we have wisdom, there is no mental formation. It means that we do not create karma. Due to no karma action, there is no consciousness. The consciousness in here represents the four thoughts. That means all the four thoughts gone, it will transform into wisdom. Does that make sense? There is no consciousness, but it's wisdom.
So then consciousness in a sense is if there is a separation between the observer and the observed, because then there's an observer which is conscious to what is observed. So if there's no more ignorance and there's no longer a separation between the observer and the observed, then we could say that there's no more consciousness.
The reason we have consciousness because we don't have wisdom. And that's why due to the ignorance and the karma, the power of the karma, that's what we enter into the mother womb. That's what the consciousness do. But one day no ignorance, it means wisdom. There no mental formation. That means no more new karma. It doesn't mean that no more karma. We do have even though the one who become enlightened one, they still have karma, but the old karma, not the new one. But no karma for the new, and then no consciousness. That means only wisdom. Remember, 8 consciousness transform into 4 wisdom. You remember that? Mm-hmm. This is important. There is no consciousness. That means there is no enter into the mother womb. Only exception. Really, the bodhisattva make the vow.
So when you say this consciousness right here is you're talking about the alaya?
Yeah, alaya, or well, this is alaya, that's correct. But alaya, this time it becomes the wisdom when we don't have ignorance, when there's no ignorance, no mental formation. That means our mind becomes very clear, very pure. It's only wisdom. There no thought, then they no enter into the mother womb. Do you understand that, Jenny?
Yes. So and in order not to enter into the mother's womb anymore, you have to be free of all karma, of all your past karma. And
No. You don't have to free all past karma. The karma, what you did in the past is still there. But you do not create a new karma.
oh.
That means the one who in the samadhi, right? Their mind is very concentrated. And also they are very awareness, right? That means they have the stillness as well as the wisdom. But doesn't mean that they clear out all the karma in the past. No, it's still there.
So you can be in that state, in the samadhi state, and still have karma with you, past karma.
Yeah, the past karma is still there, right? Just like when we borrow the money from the bank, right? Then we have to pay back, right? Someday.
Because I thought that the whole process that you do in your life, getting to that samadhi state, that process itself gets rid of your old karma.
Okay, the difference between no. You try to eradicate the karma, and but you have to. Okay, this is what the difference between the arhat and the bodhisattva. They free. That means their mind is still in the stillness. and they don't have any desire to do anything for the benefit of living beings. And that means they are not go out. Therefore, just like they frozen their past karma, and they can in the samadhi for a long time. Eventually, it will end the samadhi. At that time, when they come out, they will resolve the bodhicitta in the future, and to practice the bodhisattva path eventually. All the arahant will do. But
And when you practice the bodhisattva path, is that when you're getting rid of your old karma?
when we practice the bodhisattva path, and that means we go out and we deal with the world. And that means whatever we carry our old karma, and at that time we will still pay with the retribution, depend on what kind of karma we pay. But the bodhisattva willing to accept everything because they have no self, right? They know self. That means they are selfless. And that means they don't have the I and the me. And they willing to benefit the sentient being. And by practice the 6 paramita, the first one is the generosity paramita, the most important one. To make the good affinity with all living beings by giving. So they will own out, they will become instead of we own them, they own us. Then there we can teach them. That's how we pay back our own karma in the nice way. Even though they create, let's say in the past, before he become the enlightened one, right? He create a bad karma, and he will pay for it. But because he have a lot of blessing due to his practice bodhisattva path. Therefore, when he pay we pay the retribution, the bad retribution, he pay in the easy way. Just like when we poor, we pay $100,000. We own the bank $100,000. When we are poor, right? It's very tough for us to make a payment. But when we become a millionaire, those things is nothing. Does it make sense? This is important. The bodhicitta is so important. When we generate the mind of compassion and loving kindness, that's how we eradicate the karma, the mind. Because we transform the bad into good, the hatred into the loving kindness. That's how we eradicate it. If we don't resolve the bodhicitta, then there ain't no way to eradicate it. Just like the arahant, they can force it, but when they start working on the bodhicitta, they have to do the same thing. It's still there. The karma will not go anywhere. It's not disappear by itself. Okay? Even though we make a vow to be born into the Pure Land, right? We bring our bad karma with us to the Pure Land. We will practice the Dharma in the Pure Land for the good. When you were in the good condition, good environment, it's easier for us to practice. Instead of we born into the bad environment and condition, it's very tough for our practice. But it doesn't mean that the karma we pray in the past is gone. No. Well, we just delay. We just delay. Otherwise, the law of cause and effect is no longer applicable. the law of cause and effect, no one can escape the power of the karma, even the Arhat or the Buddha. Does that make sense, William?
Yes.
This is important. Even though the Buddha have the most powerful psychic power, right? Still, the karma power is greater than that. You remember the story about the Sakya clan being
Yes.
tried out by the king,
Yes.
and the Buddha tried to stop him three times. He could not be able to do that. And the Morgana, he said, because Morgana, Venerable Morgana, he the most psychic power disciple of the Buddha. And he said that he want to use his power to rescue some of the Sakya clan. And the Buddha said that you cannot do that with your power. And he still do it anyway. He will fly into the palace, and he put all 500 Sakya people into his boat and fly out. After the battle, he opened his bowl. What happened? He see all flesh. All flesh. Okay. And you know how the Morgana, when he died, you know how what way he died?
No.
No. He been killed by the robber. And I think they cut his body in many pieces. He have a power. He tried to escape from them, but you know what? When the karma become ripened, we cannot escape. And you know what? He have to accept. This is the beautiful teaching of the Buddha. No one beyond the law, even the president. The universal law is above everything. No such creator or Buddha beyond that. Right? This is important. Okay, I think we are time for that. Any questions so far? Tammy, you understand, Tammy?
So I understand what you're saying, but when you get to the part where you're talking about consciousness ending and becoming the wisdom, like I understand what you're saying, but I can't quite grasp it at this point. I think that's the first time I heard that, so it's new to me.
Next time I will explain to you in detail because we have learned in the past already. So so I will explain to you maybe next class. Remind me, okay? Remind me. I think
All right, thank you.
we run out of time right now. Okay, let's do the mantra. I think today's class is very interesting. Don't you think, William?
Oh yes. I mean, every week it's interesting. Absolutely.
Oh. Okay, that's good. The Buddha teaching is so beautiful. Okay. Okay, let's give me 1 second. Let me share the screen before Tammy, do you have the link for the mantra that we do?
Yep. Yes, I have it now. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Good. Today we will go up to 150. I think at that time we already done 150, right? And we go up to 160, I guess. Okay, let me try to do it in the not too fast, not too slow. Okay, let me stop here. Oh, we have to do the transferring the marriage first, then we continue on this thing. Sorry. Give me 1 second. No. Oh, I did not have that. Oh, that's bad. What happened to my slide? Give me 1 second. Okay, anyway. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, William, go ahead and read it.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.